Manga-Waido.
The name's Sho Suzuki. I'm 17 and go to high school. I ain't some nerdy guy or one of those popular kids neither. As you can see, I'm what you call a delinquent. Wasn't like this from the beginning. When I entered junior high school, my parents started acting strange. From the latter half of the second year at junior high, their relationship turned nasty all at once. After that, fights between my parents became a regular thing, and since I didn't want to listen to their arguments, I spent my time wandering around town or going to the neighborhood park. The park was quite big, and there were people of all ages and genders. I started talking to the older guys who often gathered there. I was taught by my parents not to talk to strangers, but I felt more comfortable spending time with them than my parents at the time. Found myself dyeing my hair and piercing my ears the same way, even though the older guys had moved on from the park before I knew it. And here we are. School life was a whole lot more boring than I had imagined. I hoped that there'd be a few guys like me, but no one stood out more than me. And they all took their studies seriously even though it wasn't even that good of a school. The guys in the class were all in an uproar because a cute girl had transferred to a neighboring class. But I didn't care. They're no different than the rest of them anyway. I was always the one who got the teacher's attention because there were too many serious guys in the class. I got called in every day, and I bristled at them. I got called in again today, so I was frustrated on my way home. School sucks. I should quit school and get a job. But guess I should at least graduate from high school. As I was walking near the park as usual with these thoughts in my mind, I bumped into a girl around the corner. Hey, watch where you're going! I glared at her, and she just stood there silent. But then... What? She suddenly grabbed me by the chest and pulled me down with a lot of force. My train of thought came to a halt as my eyes met those of a girl who's staring at me with a scary expression creased between her eyebrows. The woman took her hand off my chest and tried to use it to plead something like, I don't know. What? Oh, you can't talk. Wait, you're wearing the same uniform. You from our school? It wasn't another delinquent who tried to stand up against me, but a disabled girl. I was so embarrassed by this rare event that I didn't know what to do and froze for a moment. The girl, seeing my lack of reaction, gave up and walked away. Was she looking down at me? A guy like me? That ain't right. A disabled person in a vulnerable position challenging a delinquent? Does she have no fear? If so, she must have taken me for a fool. I ain't letting her get away with that. After that, I began to loathe the girl. I decided it'd be too conspicuous at school, so I looked for her every day in that park. And finally, I found her. Brace yourself, you sassy asshole! Hey, it was nice seeing you last time. You all alone today, huh? You have any friends? I deliberately stepped forward and pointed my finger. But the girl just glanced at me and didn't give much of a reaction. Even when I chased after her telling her to wait, she just kept walking away, ignoring me. That attitude irritated me even more. I got so pissed off that I ambushed her in the park every day after that. And when I found her, I started messing with her. But she ignored me every time. Who does she think she is? I was so pissed off that one day, I grabbed her arm as she tried to leave with a disgusted look on her face. Hey, you're getting on my nerves! My voice broke out in a rush of anger, even though I knew she couldn't hear me. Losing balance from my yank, the girl fell to the ground. Oh no! I didn't mean to be rough! Damn it! Here. I reached over and helped her to her feet, and she glared at me for a second, then ignored me again and walked away quickly. She really pissed me off. What am I gonna do to her the next time I mess with her? That's all I could think about. After thinking about it, I decided to provoke her visually. She must be able to read at the very least if she goes to high school, which means I could write my complaints on a piece of paper and show them to her directly. Not gonna be able to ignore me this time. I'll show her next time. I think I was looking for stimulation because of the boring days that went on. I couldn't wait to see how she reacted, so I decided to carry a pen and paper in my pocket so I'd be ready at any time. But I wasn't able to see her for a long time, and when I finally did, she wasn't in the park but on the main street, and she was on the sidewalk opposite from me. Duh, what a pain in the ass. It ain't worth crossing over just to mess with her in such a conspicuous place. I'll just go home and play some games. As I was thinking that, the girl started running all of a sudden, so I looked in her direction. There, I saw a woman walking while talking on the phone and a small child following after her, and a bicycle. The man on the bicycle must have been looking away. Watch out! Just when I thought that, it was just in time. The girl was holding the child in her arms. The bicycle brakes screeched as the mother turned around.
Mom!
The child's cries echoed. The girl was telling something in sign language to the approaching mother. The mother glared at the girl, who was still sitting on the ground.
You're disabled and yet you're trying to kidnap a child. Disgusting.
Cursing so loud that you could hear, even if you were on the opposite sidewalk. Trying to kidnap a child? What's he talking about? I looked around the woman. The man on the bicycle was already gone, and all that was left was the girl, the child clinging to her mother, and the mother glaring at the girl with a devilish expression. The girl who helped was being misunderstood. That old hag! What the hell are you talking about when you're the one not paying attention? I instantly felt the blood rush to my head. It was the guy on the bicycle who was at fault, and if anything, that woman who was on her phone not paying attention was just as guilty. Why was that girl being blamed for helping? Why isn't she saying anything back? But then I realized sign language wasn't going to help, and in that situation, she didn't even have enough time to write on a piece of paper. Meanwhile, the mother quickly disappeared with the child, leaving the girl alone. That girl. As I started to run after the girl, who began staggering off, the light turned red. I was frustrated by the bad timing and regretted not crossing over to the other side as soon as I found her. When I finally caught up with the girl, I thought my heart would stop, because that girl, with a dazed look on her face, was about to cross the red light. I saw a car coming at high speed, and I was running as fast as I could before I even knew it. I heard a loud brake, way louder than the one I just heard on the bike. At the same time, I felt pain all over my body. Ow! I managed to save the girl just in time. The driver in the car started shouting something, but I couldn't make it out. But that wasn't important. Hey, you okay? I shook the body of the girl I was holding. She opened her eyes wide, as if she couldn't understand the situation. Her eyes were filled with large tears, which quickly welled up. I suddenly remembered that I had a piece of paper and pen. I took them out of my pocket, and then I wrote, "You all right?" A sigh of relief filled me as she nodded her head. She seemed to be okay for now. Then I wrote what I wanted to tell her next. You did good. As soon as I showed it to her, many more tears welled up from the girl's eyes, and she began to cry like a child. They're pains that only she can understand. I found myself gently hugging her. I learned afterwards that she wasn't thinking about anything bad when she tried to cross the street, but she was just so out of it from the sadness that she didn't notice the red light. I was relieved, and at the same time, felt like I wanted to be there to support her. After that day, me and Nene started to see each other often. I was kinda interested, so I was by Nene's side. Such time increased. As we spent more time together, I got to know her better. She's a competitive person who likes pudding a lot. She also likes cats and hates dogs. She lost her hearing when she was in elementary school, which may have been a reason why her parents divorced a few years ago. She followed her mother, but the stepfather she remarried was cold, so she didn't have a place at home, just like me. She said she experienced a lot of ridicule from people around her because of her disability, so she tried not to get involved with other people at school. When I learned of her situation, I bowed my head more than 10 times. Very seriously, of course. Nene laughed at me and wrote, "You messing with me in so many ways was kind of fun." It didn't take me long to realize that I liked her, and I was smitten by her expression as if to say, "I forgive you." And then one day, we were at the park where we first met, and there I was told a shocking truth.
Did you know? We've met before.
What?
And I didn't think you'd help me again.
What? Again means... Apparently the first time I saved Nene was right after elementary school. I went in to help her when she got tangled up with a dog. Hearing that, a particular scene flashed through my mind. A little girl was frozen with tears in her eyes, being tangled up by a small dog in a park near the school. I saw that, and I walked out in front of the girl and scolded the dog. "Don't pick on a girl!" I think I said something like that. Who'd have thought that the girl was Nene? I'm the one who didn't know. That's a little embarrassing. Nah, it ain't nothing. I wrote the words, "Don't worry about it," and showed it to her. Then Nene...
The way we met again was terrible, but thanks to Sho, I feel like the world is a bigger place now. Thanks.
Nene gently held my hand, smiling softly. My face turned red with embarrassment, and I felt like my heart was about to explode. But, hope Nene feels the same way I do. I told her how I felt while wishing that. Nene, I love you. I want to be there to support you from here on out. I know she can't hear me, but I couldn't help but tell her. I gently let go of her hand to tell her again in sign language. At that moment, Nene hugged me. No way! I was so happy, I collapsed almost on the spot. After that, Nene and I became a couple. Nene didn't like it neither, so I stopped pretending to be violent and dyed my hair back to black. The teachers were puzzled by my sudden change, and they still don't believe me that I've changed my outlook. My relationship with my parents is still a bit strained, but they don't fight as much now that I've matured. Who'd have thought the guy who was always lashing out at everybody would end up with her like this? I couldn't believe it the least. But I made up my mind. Nene looks good with a smile on her face. Gotta protect that smile. I'm not only gonna talk about it, I'm gonna show her with my actions from now on.